Karibu, northern Tanzania. Scientists believe that the first humans took their steps here. This is also the site of our story.
Nampenda kama ringtone, ana maringo, huyu binti mtamtam, swaga zake ziko simple, apendi bingo, anihishi ham. Niko naye sina nyimbo, nikatoa single, paka sasa na album. Ni mkali wa mitindo, hategi mingo, kitandani mashamsham. Ila siku mimi niko naye, ila siku hizi penzi linatia fore.
This is my entrepreneur. Her name is Francesca, and she's from Italy. She's been a jewelry designer for over 20 years. She joined the organization in 2007. Francesca first recounted to me how she got started with the project. Initially, she was brought in to help the women improve the quality and wearability of their pieces so they would sell better. It was then, when she traveled to Tanzania in 2007, that she had the idea to incorporate her 20 years of jewelry design knowledge with the Maasai centuries of beading experience to create an opportunity. Francesca saw the potential to improve the jewelry's appeal. She essentially worked to expand the existing product to a different group of people and a different geographic area. She thought that Western and European women would like the jewelry better if it was made with high-quality materials and achieved a happy medium between exotic Maasai and sophisticated European designs. She knew that by changing a few small aspects of the jewelry, she could maximize returns on the products, making the women more money. I thought it was absolutely brilliant that she saw the potential in this venture and wanted to be involved beyond her original duties of merely improving quality. I noticed that most Maasai jewelry is too large and ornate to wear on a daily basis, so when bought by tourists it ends up on the wall. As a consumer, the idea of wearable souvenirs really appealed to me. Francesca was really able to capture the wants and needs of the consumer in the pieces. Since its creation in 2007, the goal of Maasai Women Art was always to provide environmentally sustainable income generators for Maasai women. The women have few skills, but their beading and craftsmanship skills, and this, in addition to being women, greatly inhibits their employment opportunities. This leaves them dependent on their husbands and tribemates. To generate some income, Francesca says, many of the women did things like sell charcoal or cut trees. This is highly unsustainable for both the women and the environment. With Francesca's help, the appeal of the jewelry and its influence has gone worldwide. One of the largest customer bases is the United States, over 12,000 kilometers away. No longer would the women have to gather non-renewable resources for funds. The business and refined beading skills that the women have learned has allowed them to not only make the money that they can call their own, but also fund community projects. The women now own a boma in Mukuru that they use specifically as a base for their work. Land ownership by women is essentially unheard of in Tanzania. Furthermore, the women have sent 2 girls to school in Arusha with their earnings and have begun to set up a goat project for more income. This project has not only given the women more opportunities and independence than it promised to, it has also allowed them to invest in their future. Francesca believes that the most important step in the development of the organization was the opening of the retail store in 2009. She told me that the Arusha store, located in a safari and mountain tourist hotspot, not only allows for greater exposure, but also a tangible result of the women's work, inspiring them to work harder. We have already touched on how the project was developed, but the history of Maasai women art is truly an international one. Francesca first worked with the women in 2007 for 6 months of intensive learning and product development. Once she had learned the traditional Maasai ways of making jewelry, she took these skills back to her classroom at the Istituto Europa de Design in Milan. After learning the techniques for building the geometric designs, the students were free to take these traditional patterns and modernize them to create more wearable and functional jewelry. Everything from clasp designs to metal choice was considered carefully. These techniques and designs were then taken back to the village of Mukuru for the women to learn. Each piece is then, in fact, a fusion of Italian and Maasai design. Francesca flew back and forth between Tanzania and Italy many times a year, working on the 2 collections.
Penzi langu sio motion, usijipe question. Mimi ndiye mume bora, wananipania mission ili unitose, nimemuachia Mola.
When I asked Francesca about the skills she believes are required of a good entrepreneur, she sent me back a very short answer. She said, a great idea, a passionate motivation to do your best, and the flexibility and guts to see it all through. Relating this to her story, I think I can elaborate on what she's saying. Francesca worked for 20 years with some of the richest and most famous people in the world. She's a very talented jewelry designer, but you can tell by her answers and involvement in the project that this venture, out of her many, is her favorite. She said many times that this experience has been the best of her life and has taught her a lot. Francesca had a great idea, but arguably she's had many during her career. What really allowed this venture to succeed was the passionate motivation she found in the Maasai women. Francesca had enjoyed the challenge of working with their materials, using their designs, and has seen how the small profits make huge differences in their lives. What has kept Maasai women art successful is the flexibility and guts Francesca describes. She would not directly disclose the profit margins of the organization to me, but she did tell me that this past year was the first that they made a significant profit. This means 5 years of making next to no money without giving up, something I believe definitely takes guts. I asked Francesca what her greatest challenge was. Well, Allie, the design changes have been the biggest challenge. I wanted to maintain the integrity of the millennia-old designs while making their products more marketable. I started by analyzing the traditional Maasai models, then tried to come up with options in order to solve some practical problems. For example, large and rigid necklaces, no clasps or scratchy ones, large heavy earrings, permanent bracelets and bracelets that couldn't be put on alone, designs that only suit the amazing Maasai appearance, the use of iron that rusts. Initially, we didn't know how the women would accept the restyling of their traditional jewels, but in fact they were interested in models which are slightly different from their traditional ones. I spent days working with the women in the dusty savannah under the African sun without experiencing problems. Even when I don't speak Ma or Kiswahili and they don't speak English or Italian, this has not been a constraint. It was enough for me to learn 5 words, to write down the first 10 numbers in Kiswahili, and all of the communication barriers were broken. The women accepted with enthusiasm this Italian lady who was engaging with them in mutual learning. From corresponding with Francesca, I have learned a great deal about the entrepreneurial process, particularly in a developing context. I've come to understand that the team you surround yourself with is extremely important to your success. The structure of Maasai Women Art and its supporting NGO, Sanja in Tanzania, ensured that even though the organization was not financially successful at first, it was given time to grow and develop without worry. Furthermore, the team of Italian students were essential to helping the product develop international appeal. This team really enabled Maasai Women Art to progress. Another important thing I learned was that through immersion in an environment, that of the Maasai village of Makuru, for example, ideas and opportunities can make themselves apparent. An idea struck me when I was living in Tanzania amongst the people, and Francesca's story has inspired me to work for it. Finally, I learned that an equal balance of persistence and flexibility, used in the right context, is key not only to making an enterprise successful, but to achieving any of your dreams.